Our next story is from Mexico. It is going the Pakistan way. And I'll explain why I say this. Yesterday, the country had a big day. A Mexicana flight took off after 13 years. Mexicana is one of the oldest airlines in the world. It was state-owned. Then it went private and finally bankrupt in 2010. Now it's back in the air. And while the return of Mexicana may seem like a cause for celebration, there's one detail that is concerning. The airline is under new management. That's the Mexican military. That's right. The army has entered the commercial airline industry. It already has a business portfolio which includes running airports, trains, managing customs, building and running hotels, and even constructing bank branches. The Mexican army does all of this. Basically, the military is taking over Mexico's economy. It doesn't bode well for its democratic credentials. If you don't believe us, just look at Pakistan to see exactly what and how much can go wrong when the military takes over. Here's a report.
Mexicana de Aviación. It's the fourth oldest airline in the world still in operation. Well, it regained that rank yesterday because it had technically ceased operations in 2010. But yesterday, a Mexicana flight took off after 13 years. It flew from the capital, Mexico City, to the resort town of Tulum. The president of Mexico, Andrez Manuel Lopez Obrador, was beaming with pride. He has grand plans for the revived airline.
We are going to consolidate this airline in the time we have left in office, and we are sure that those who will replace us will finish the job of strengthening Mexicana de Aviación.
Oprador is out in 2024. He can't stand for re-election. But his confidence in the airline's future may not be misplaced. His successor may not have a choice but to strengthen the airline, because Mexicana isn't an ordinary civilian carrier anymore. It has returned in a new form. It's now a military-run airline, owned and operated by Mexico's Secretariat of National Defense. Mexicana has joined numerous other companies that are now under the Mexican military's direct control. One recent example is the Tren Maya. It's an intercity train that runs through Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. It commenced operations 2 weeks ago. The mega project cost Mexico $28 billion, and it's also owned by the Mexican military. Everywhere you look in Mexico, it seems the military is taking care of business. Yesterday's Mexicana flight took off from an airport operated by the Mexican military. The destination was Tulum, a resort town on the Caribbean coast. A few of the resorts there are also operated by the Mexican military. The armed forces also provide security for the beach resorts there. Now, you may wonder, why is this the case? Why does the Mexican military have its fingers in all these businesses? The short answer is efficiency. Mexico's President Andrez Manuel Lopez Obrador came to power in 2018. He had a lot of projects he wanted to complete in his single term. But Mexico is rife with corruption and bureaucracy. So he turned to the military. He gave them assignments and responsibilities outside their purview, with the belief that they are incorruptible. Now, the Mexican military is efficient in terms of speed. They don't waste time with formalities like bidding for contracts or begging for budgets. They don't bother with environmental clearances. They just assign the job to their preferred contractors, add the expenses to Mexico's defense budget, and let the government and courts squabble over permissions. So, no one really knows why certain contractors are chosen. No one can ask for the military's accounting. It's all hidden behind the veil of national security. Meanwhile, Mexico's defense secretary is buying luxury houses for a fraction of their cost, allegedly from defense contractors. But corruption is just the tip of the iceberg. The real danger runs far deeper. Just look at Pakistan. The country's economy is in the grip of its army. From weapons to wheat, sugar mills to stud horses, every aspect of Pakistan's economy is controlled by the armed forces. And look how well that's turned out. The country is constantly on the verge of economic collapse. Their democratic institutions are a sham. The army dictates which puppet politicians will be allowed to contest polls, and they keep leeching away resources from the country's budget. Pakistan is an army with a country instead of the other way around, and the people are suffering because of it. Mexicans should take note, or they could be in danger of becoming a Latin American Pakistan.